Where are you going? Going to hospital
Yeah.
to check your ears. You at the park with the birds? Hello, so today I'd like to share two thoughts with you that I've been thinking about. And one is the verse, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord, from the book of Psalms. Now, I've always thought of that verse as in the story of Job, God took away or allowed to be taken away a lot of the things that Job loved or enjoyed. Pretty much just about everything he had. But he said, God gives and he takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So God's good even when he takes the things away that we want. But I was thinking about this verse because something had been taken away that I was very relieved about. So not this last week, but the week before, we sold our dog Ella. And I never wanted a dog in the first place. I'm not really an animal lover, but my husband had wanted one, so we finally got one, and the children wanted one as well. But yeah, it was not going well. We tried for a whole year. Ella would jump the fence, and then when she was locked up or tied up, then she would bark a lot, and so it just caused me a lot of stress when Johan wasn't there. So yeah, we finally just decided to sell her, and for me, because I had already put up with it for a long time and caused me a lot of stress, I was so relieved that she was finally gone, or that the stress of having her was gone. And that verse came to my mind, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, blessed be the name of the Lord. And I realized that verse, you can see it in a different way too. It's not just when God gives us good things, it's easy to be thankful, but when God takes those things away, then it's really hard to be thankful. But sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes God gives us things that we don't want. So in my case, it was a dog. So yeah, it's easy to rejoice when God takes the problem or the cause of the stress away, but it's a little bit harder to rejoice when God gives it to us. So you can see that verse both ways. God is good when he takes something away that we want, and he's also good when he gives us something we don't want. But even then, if it's something God gives to us, then it is a gift. So we still need to be thankful when we have something that we really don't want and that we can't just get rid of. So yeah, I did enjoy the cute moments, like the videos I've shared of Lydia playing with her. Lydia really enjoyed her, but I didn't share the moments when she was barking at 6 o'clock in the morning, all the times that she was stressing me out. So. And the second thought comes from 1 Kings 20, the story about Ben-Hadad attacking Samaria. And this is what part of the story says. The servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods are gods of the hills, therefore we were stronger than they, but let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. So they had lost with the Israelites once when they were on the hill, and they thought that the next time they were going to win because they would be down in the valley. And then the prophet says, Thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is God of the hills, but he is not God of the valleys. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into thy hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So the Syrians thought that the Israelites could only win when they were on the hill and not when they were down in the valley. And it sounds silly to us, but what I got from that is that they limited God. They thought God can only do this, but God can't do that. And I realized that I often limit God too. So God is unlimited, but because I know my own limits, I sometimes limit what God can do in my life. So for example, I've talked last week about being busy and having enough strength to do what I need to do. Sometimes I think, all right, I'm busy enough, I couldn't possibly do anything more. So I limit what God can do in me. But sometimes when we think we're at our limit, God actually does want to give us more, because God can do more through us than what we think. And I think Moses is a good example. He tried to rescue the Israelites in his own way, and he failed. And then later on, God came to him and said, I want you to take the people out of Egypt. And because he knew his own limits, he was full of excuses and reasons why he couldn't do it. And yet there was no limit to what God could do through him. And although we have limits on what we can do, there is no limit to what God can do through us. But sometimes we focus too much on our own limits and think, right, I can't possibly do that. I can't possibly do any more than what I'm already doing, or can't possibly give any more, or I can't possibly handle anything more, like I can't handle any more of this problem. But we forget that God is unlimited, and he is unlimited in what he can do through us. And the widow of Zarephath is another example. She knew her own limits when Elijah asked her to give him some. First he asked her to give her some water, and she said sure. And then when she went to do that, he said, could you also give me a little bit of bread? And she said, well, I can't, because all I have is enough for me and my son, and then it's going to be our last meal, because she didn't have any more than that. And Elisha told her to give some to him first, and then there would be enough that like her food wouldn't run out if she would do that. And so she knew her own limits. She knew what she had, and it wasn't enough to share it. But when she took Elisha, or she took God at his word, and she obeyed, then there was enough. But she couldn't focus on her own limits. And it's just something I've been learning personally, because I tend to think, oh, I couldn't possibly do any more than what I'm doing, and then God gives me more. But God can do a lot through us, because he is unlimited. So I can't focus on my own limitations.